Okay, so hello and welcome. I don't know how to make this completely original in the way that I'm going to be like, woo, this is the first and I would say the foremost in some kind of way, welcoming to a brand new show called Comic Book Karaoke. My name is Chris Jordan. I am going to be your resident geek for a bit of a journey that's going to be absolutely 100% fantastic, not only because I created it and I want to bring it to you, but because I know that you're going to absolutely love this. Taken a whole bunch of conversations that have been had for decades, I suppose, around comic book culture and pop culture in particular as well. And we've just redesigned it for the 2020s. A new conversation, new people, new friends, and a whole new reach to what is going on around us in the world of fandom as it is. So I'm going to just give you a little bit of a kind of like a highlight space as to where we're going to be going over the next couple of episodes. We're going to be looking at the rise and fall of female empowerment throughout comic book and pop culture. We'll be looking at LGBT representation. We'll be looking at diversity, quote unquote. I say diversity within popular culture, where, just to give you a bit of a stat, kind of like frighten you almost already, we have 4.9% black representation within comic books themselves. Right now, 2020s, I say. Not 2020 or 2021 or 2022, in the 2020s, man. We bring it back home also. Here I am filming from South Africa. I am South African, proudly South African. But also, I think this is a narrative that really explains kind of the mindset for a lot of different countries around the world. Do we actually support our local artists, and are they of the same caliber? We're always saying that because it's easy to spend 2, 3, 4 grand on, I suppose a Marvel or a DC or anything like that. Product, but to bring it back home, we're like kind of questioning a couple of hundred back and forth. Okay, so just a little bit of a highlight, like I say, throw forward, and I'm going to bring it back right to episode 1. Please subscribe, obviously, please stream, tell your friends, and obviously just kind of like, I'll pat myself in the back, you don't have to do that for me. We are bringing it right back down to the very beginning, which is Intoxicated, fandom and subcultures within our own space, our immediate space, our friend circle, right? To, again, just the kind of the metaphorical space around the globe. Joining me today and joining me every single episode will be a super geek, a friend, a super geek, and some super geeks alike, that I'll be talking to either directly, like I say, or via virtual meetings because they are far and wide. And today's special guest geek is Michelle Huxtable. To find out a little bit more about her, why don't you just kind of just switch your attention here.
Hi, my name is Michelle, I'm 25, and I'm a geek and a cosplayer. This is quite a roller coaster of a journey to get to this point, but I got into my geekdom when I was like a young kid because of my brother. We would play Mortal Kombat and all sorts of games when we were younger on the PlayStation 1 or 2. I can't even remember which one it was so long ago. And we pretty much watched Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon, and those like Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, and like Batman, all the things I geek out on crazy. But yeah, no, pretty much my brother got me into the geekdom and going through that whole experience and journey with him, because that was the only time we could really bond together, because he was 5 years older than me. And then when his friends started coming over, I'd be like the annoying little sister that always like hung around them and stuff like that. And then then pretty much my dad and I also started geeking over Lord of the Rings and X-Files, and him and I had a lot of bonding over Batman as well. And then from there I just explored my own avenues, went and found things that I liked. So for example, I know it's not like super canon in the geek thing, but I love Legally Blonde and Mean Girls. Like I will geek out about that too. What else? But yeah, I really enjoy getting into the geekdom. The geekdom's been amazing. I got into cosplay through my brother's 21st party. He had a costume theme party where everyone was supposed to come from games, come in costumes from games, and there was this one friend of his that came through in the God of War. I think his name was Kronos, and he had like the whole like weapons and like the body paint, and I was just like, I want to do that. Other than that, yeah, that's how I got into geek, and that's my kind of story.
She looks amazing. She is amazing. We're going to hear from her in just a moment and see what she's got to say all about toxic fandom and just the entire politics that happen to, I suppose, every kind of geek in every kind of space, in every kind of place along the way. But I want to first give us a little bit of lowdown, a kind of like a baseline as to what fandom is. I know that you know it, but let me say it anyway. And it's about the subcultures and subcultures and subcultures that exist around us. You can be a fan of, well, I kind of think of my dad in this particular example. So he loves soccer. He's always loved soccer. Loves it, always watches it. Like, I watch it with him just so we can do something together. It's great stuff. And he's a Tottenham Hotspurs fan, right? But the thing is with my dad, he's not going to go and spend like a couple of $1,000 to go and watch the Tottenham Hotspurs. I was going to say, let me get it right. Tottenham. Oh man, damn it! Like Liverpool, for example, right? To go watch them live in, in a match, up or down in England. He's happy to very much stay at home, watch from the couch. Doesn't need to buy the T-shirt, and so my dad's not really a fanatic when it comes to things like this. But a fanatic is someone that puts in money, time, space, love, and some real dedication to, whatever subculture it is that they are devoted to. So we talk about fandom in that space, but living in we always say the digital space, the digital era, the golden era of digital media. We know that social media is just one hell of a great space to feel super crap in any way, and also to make other people feel super crap. So what happens is that we get this false sense of elitism within every culture, and especially now, because we are doing a show on geekdom in specific, we have these kind of like these elevated, self-proclaimed super geeks, that in their own delusional space, really are kind of affecting, like I say, intoxicated spaces that filter from the top down. So it goes to almost to the point of cyberbullying. Well, you know what? If I've got a little bit of a collectible that is a small kind of 18 van from the 1980s, does that really compare, compared to your really 13, 14, 15,000 bucks statues that are coming from, I don't have to name the brands. Everyone for everything, right? But it really comes down to more of that, whatever space we're in. We're talking about movies that are being released, and no one really wants to kind of listen to, I would say, it's conspiracy theories. We all love to do it, but there's no discussions happening. There's only statements being made. And that again is once again this metaphor that runs down. The bullying has to really stop because it's gross and people don't like it, and we don't like you for doing it. And Michelle is here to chat about that because she is quite a super geek herself. No, she really is. And let's have that conversation with someone who knows it from the, I would say, almost like the neck down. So the way that you've obviously experienced geekdom and geek culture in just your surrounding area, I mean that in terms of the community. Where have you seen it the past 5-10 years?
Well, generally with like my whole life, I know it's like the past 5-10 years, but like I've also seen it grow so much from when I was a kid and chilling with my brother and his friends and trying to learn. I'd pretend to know things or learn like the basic amount of things just to get by. Yeah. And they would call me out on it, and they would try to not gatekeep me, but try and find out exactly how much knowledge I knew about it. So
before, obviously, I get that geeks are watching this, but the thing is that let's do that gatekeeping. Kind of when you go on, you want to like kind of go on a date, and there's a bulldog friend, the bulldog at the gate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
No, but like that's the thing. It's like I feel like gatekeeping is good for a community because it's good to go and have casual fans. You know, everyday Joe who's not super into Marvel and reads all the comic books and knows everything. You know, it's good to go and enjoy the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's okay. But it's when you come into like our space, like Comic-Con and like Rage and Geek Fest and Icon, that you come and dress up as this character and we think, oh cool, someone who's like us, and we want to go and have its whole engagement with you and be like, oh yes, remember in this comic book so-and-so did this, you know, what is your reaction to this? Sure. And they sit there and they're like, oh, I haven't read the books, I just kind of watched the movie and like, it's a cool character, and I'm just like, that's cool, but like I want to have further conversation, and that's where gatekeeping comes in, where we're like, oh, so you're just a casual fan.
Look, I mean, yeah, you see now, this is taking a turn for a different conversation.
I'm sorry. But for example, with Robert Pattinson, he's the new Batman. I was very scared about it because I love my Batman. Christian Bale is the best. I know everyone. Okay, low-key, small rant. Ben Affleck is more comic book accurate, but Adam West is always going to be the best Batman.
For sure.
Always.
I mean, if it's an OG, it's an OG, you know?
No, even though he was the worst, he's the best. He's the best in our hearts.
Best bam. Kazow! Yeah.
Bam.
True.
But for example, now Robert Pattinson is entering the Batman universe, and he's going to be the new Batman, and everyone's like, oh, you're a sparkly vampire, and that affects the way that everyone feels, especially the hardcore fans, because now the series is taken less serious. For example, with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah. Megan Fox coming in, everyone's like, oh yeah, they're just using her because she's hot and she's not going to do proper justice to the character and stuff like that. And there's a lot of fan shaming towards celebrities who help bring the fiction to life.
Right, but but again, obviously we all know you can't please everyone. I mean, like, do I even have to say that? I just did, right?
The expectations in any culture for being a fan of something is always hard, because whether or not it's from geek or, you know, collecting, you know, military stuff, or, you know, looking after animals and stuff like that, there's always this expectation to, you know, be a part of the community, but do things your own way, but do things the right way.
Okay. What is the right way?
That is the good question. What is the right way?
I always have these questions. No.
So, like, the right way is that you, like, I feel that as long as that your love for whatever you're committed to isn't being ruined, and you're not pissing off too many people, I feel like you're doing it the right way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, again.
Yeah.
But okay, here's my thing. So when it comes to, in terms of that, and I segue into the money that goes into it. So I want to be, you know, it's like I have a collection, or I want to be doing cosplay. I do not have the 8,000 rand to go and pull it all together, and I don't have the craftability to, you know, like a lot of cosplayers do. They know how to sew, they know how to create, they know, you know, but I want to do that too. And now I walk into a con, right, and there's this, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but
right there.
You see, but that's so. I mean, we just keep making it worse and worse and worse. Why can people not just see? Because it's very, very easy. This person has tried, but they tried and they're enjoying themselves. They came with just the same expectations as we did, you know, as you did, or whatever it may have been, and they were excited. They got dressed up.
Exactly.
They're ready to be here.
Already dressing up is enough of, you know, involving yourself in the culture, because it takes a lot for you to go and put a costume on. Because not only, if you just go to a con as yourself, no one's going to come up to you and be like, oh hey, I mean, someone might come up to you and be like, I love your shirt is awesome. Like, your shirt is awesome. It's not as awesome as mine though.
I forgot my shirt. Don't worry.
We'll be twinning next time.
Yeah.
So the thing is with expectation is that everyone expects other people to be on their level, but they don't understand that there's different types of fans.
But that's silly.
I know. Not everyone. Okay, I'm also
we're supposed to be stereotypically clever because we're nerds.
Oh yeah, but we failed an eye test to get these.
You know, I'm just saying. But my point is also, like, it's and that's just a throwaway statement. It's human. That's when you start going human and you act a fool.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, it's something my dad always taught me is that you know, it's nice to have high expectations and it's nice to want everyone to be like you, but it's a good thing that not everyone's like you.
It's a great thing.
It's a great thing.
Yeah, I mean, because then we're going to complain, we're like, I wasn't here first.
You know?
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle is eternally famous for creating Sherlock Holmes, as is Edgar Rice Burroughs for creating Tarzan, and J.K. Rowling for creating Harry Potter. And then there's Stan Lee. He co-created Spider-Man and the Hulk and Iron Man and Doctor Strange and the Avengers and the X-Men and many, many more. Today we profile the creative genius behind Marvel Comics, born this week in 1922.
I started with Marvel Comics when I was about 16 and a half. It was known as Timely Comics in those days. In fact, we didn't change the name to Marvel Comics until the very early 1960s, because at that time we had started an entire new type of stories, of superheroes. And we thought, well, now that we're doing everything differently, we might as well get a different name.
Stan Lee reinvented superhero comics by making them more relatable.
One day my publisher came to me, I was the editor at the time, and he said, you know, Stan, one of our competitors has a superhero team which is selling very well. Why don't we do a superhero team? Figured, okay, but I had been in comics so long doing the same old thing, I didn't want to continue doing the same old thing, and I figured, well, if we do a superhero team, maybe we can do it differently. So we came up with the Fantastic Four, and one of the differences was they didn't always work harmoniously as people had in comics before. There were jealousies amongst the four of them. One of them wanted to quit because he wasn't getting paid enough. Another one thought the other was grabbing all the headlines and all the glory. One of the members of the team was actually engaged to the girl, to the heroine, the girl female member, which hadn't happened in comics before, and they even got married in a future issue. And we tried to make it as realistic as possible.
The Fantastic Four was a sales smash, so Lee went on to create a whole universe of equally complex heroes.
The whole formula, if there was one, I think, was to say, let's assume that somebody really could walk on walls like Spider-Man or turn green and become a monster like the Hulk. That's a given. We'll accept that. But accepting that, what would that person be like in the real world if he really existed? Wouldn't he still have to worry about making a living, or people distrusting him, or having acne and dandruff, or his girlfriend jilting him, or what are the real problems people would have?
Stan Lee became not just the voice, but the face of Marvel Comics, known for his famous catchphrases Excelsior and Nuff said, and Marvel's readership quickly shifted from children to young adults.
At the end of the 60s, after Marvel had been going well for a while, little by little I started getting invitations to speak at colleges. By the 1970s, I was speaking at a different college once a week, 52 weeks a year, all over the country and Canada, and sometimes even in England.
By the 21st century, Lee was a cultural icon, and he continues to provide memorable cameo appearances in every Marvel movie.
I am so fired.
I feel guilty getting paid for what I do because, as you can imagine, working with comic strip characters, working with artists, with writers, with people in movies, being able to use your imagination and see the things you think of actually come to life in various ways, what could be more gratifying?
The comics writer who didn't want to do the same old thing can now take pride in a legacy that dominates the pop culture landscape.
My parting word, of course, is Excelsior! Thank you.
Whew. Kind of a lot to take in. No, it wasn't. It was great, right? Anyway, okay, so Michelle Huxtable still continuing her conversation a bit later on as we move into part 2 of episode 1, where we will be looking at the historical moments in comic book history with the Age of Apocalypse and seeing what she has to say about the analysis of that. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to settle down here because this whole episode is really about getting to the, I don't know, I would say the basics, but back to the basics, where all of us as super geeks have had an, say an upbringing where, you know, being fantastical was great. It lasted hours. It had no rules. There were no politics. I mean, I would remember on many occasions, you know, a tree would be, I don't know, like a gummy bear lair, and I would have hours and hours of stories that would make, can't even remember because they've only made no sense, with my little toys, my dino riders around the pool. I don't get it. But the point is that as an adult, I wanted to touch base with my nephew, who is going to actually be starring in a number of inserts all throughout the journey that we're going to take on Comic Book Karaoke. Well, I decided to keep my mouth very, very quiet. So from there, only will come logistics of a storyline, plot, characters, styling, I don't know. I kept quiet and let him lead us into, just experiencing some joy and some illusion and some fantastical, whatever it is, fun from his point of view. Okay, so we're about to get into a little bit of a segment. Like I said to you, this is episode 1, and the whole thing is about really reaching back into like purest form. Purest form is obviously when we were kids. Again, here's my nephew Jordan. I've already put on my Ninja Turtle beanie, which we'll get into some action now. Yes, and so the thing is that, as we know, Intoxicated fandom has to do with all just being an adult. Look, I'm not innocent of it because of the fact that, look, logic has a way, you know, like they say in Jurassic Park, life has a way, logic has a way. It ruins kind of everything when you are an adult. But, you know, remember as a kid, man, 6, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, you know, got some background noise there. But, you know, nothing had to make sense. But yet we had hours of nonsensical enjoyment. All right, so we just got into the man cave. He's soon to be man cave. He's on that side, but we have obviously a little bit of exploration with
my room.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We're obviously sitting. We know toys are everywhere. It's so cool. And it gets Jordan. Jordan's got a lot of books there as well, and then books here as well. Books. Your toys. You got a lot of toys. You do, but those are they are boxed, eh? Like they put away in boxes, and you choose what you want to play with every day, right?
Yeah.
So
there's just so many that I don't know which one to play with.
Well, I mean, you can choose. That's a nice thing. And I know that might come off to some people. I don't know who would think that is actually like a spoiled thing. But you look after your toys. We love buying you a lot of toys as well. Everyone loves buying you a lot of toys. And so you have a lot of toys. And so you are very blessed. And we are happy to keep you that way. Okay, some of your favorite toys that you have. I know that you are now collecting. Like I saw your army plane.
More toys. Well, from my mother until my birthday.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, we just had there was the biggest bag of toys for you now for Christmas, as it should be, for a Merry Christmas. But okay, the point is that you're right now collecting vehicles. So like you got the ship. I saw the ship, and you got the plane, the big plane,
the helicopter and the jet.
The jet. What are you missing? You said you wanted to collect.
I've got a train.
You got the train. Yes, you do.
Let me think.
So what are you missing? You do have an army vehicle.
I have a police car.
You have
a
police car.
a racing car.
Okay, that's also cool.
Superheroes, and we're gonna catch villains. But I want you to know what villains are we gonna catch.
Am I a villain?
I'm gonna leave it. No, you're not a villain.
Yes,
you're gonna be a superhero with me.
Okay. So do we have special moves?
Yes.
Okay, show us your wand. What happens with the wand? Don't poke at me.
Unless I do,
Three tricks.
I have three hands. You can freeze things into ice.
Can you unfreeze me?
No, I can't. Wait, I can.
Okay.
No, you're not frozen.
I am.
Leave it
I'll
to the
move.
ground.
Use as a hero.
I'm making it a charge rocket.
Do it. I'll poison my entire family. Do it.
Oh, I killed myself.
Wow, that's. Well, this is not unusual in comics. The
Okay, let's go back.
heroes die all the time. Ah, there we go. Thank you for saving the world by saving them from me.
Ooh.
And it's also important to me note that I have no motor skills when it comes to this.
Oh, you hit it. That's
Yeah.
good. Yes,
Sport, I'm just
two.
Very good at everything else.
What is that for?
Am I a hero? Am I a villain? Your daddy knows. Okay, another hero
One
pose.
bada boom bam.
No.
Oh, one bada boom bam. One bada boom bam.
Go.
Oh,
Ah.
no points.
I have myself recording here. Okay, so right, a little bit of a sweat there. As we come to the end of our first part of episode 1, in just a moment we'll snap on over to part 2. And I just want to say thank you so much. You keep on keep on spreading the love, and join us for the next episode as we enter, as I promised you, our first comic book historical moment, the Age of Apocalypse. We continue with Michelle Huxtable, our super geek, and we just finish up this whole conversation on why Intoxicated Fandom is where we're at in the 2020s. My name's Chris Jordan. Thank you so much. This has been Comic Book Karaoke. We'll see you in a mo.